Welcome back to The Smart Consumer. I'm your host, Rick Hicks, from the law firm of Anderson, Galata, and Hicks. And we're talking about gas prices. We're talking about where the money goes and how increases in gas prices impact on you and your family. And with me to do that is a member of my family, Phyllis Hicks. Are you having fun?
Yeah, I'm actually getting a lot of questions answered, but I'm getting a little upset too.
Are you getting upset?
Yeah,
Why are you getting upset?
Wow, taxes! 31% of the price of gas is to pay more taxes.
Okay,
but what I want to know is, how much oil do we make here in the United States? Why do we have to rely so much on OPEC nations and foreign oil anyway?
Well, you know, the United States is actually the #2 producer of oil in the entire world. And most of our oil stays here in the United States.
Okay.
Because OPEC produces so much more oil than we do, they, as a group, have the ability to set the standard. And if you refer back to that chart that I had up there, you can see that the OPEC nations as a group average about $59.95 for a barrel of crude oil.
Okay.
And the United States price for a barrel of crude oil is slightly cheaper than that. It's $57.58.
I heard there was a stash of oil somewhere. They were talking about Bush needed to pull out this stash of oil so we could bring the prices down. What are they talking about, and why doesn't he do it?
Well, that is called the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. And we actually do have a store of about, I think it's about 650 million barrels of oil. And it's stored in underground salt caverns somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico. And
that doesn't seem so safe anymore.
Yeah, well, it may or may not be safe. But the strategic reserve is actually supposed to represent about 60 days of use for the entire United States. So that's a lot of oil, though. That's a lot of oil in the ground. That is what the news has recently said the president has agreed to release some portions of.
Okay.
But you can bet it's not going to be free.
Well, no, nothing is.
It will still have the same percentages and amounts attached to its purchase. So if that much oil is released from the strategic reserves, it'll still be sold at crude prices at and around $60 a barrel.
Well, what can we do? What can we do to make it better? Since we can't affect the price of gas, what can we do to conserve gas or make certain that we're using it wisely so that we're just not wasting it? We can't afford to waste it at this price.
I do have some very specific suggestions for our consumers, and I guess that's a pretty good segue for me to share those things with them. There are like 3 or 4 things that I think are very important for us to do in these days with escalating gasoline prices. I think the very first thing that we all need to do is to make sure that the numbers add up. And what I mean by that is compare the price on the pump with the price on the sign that you see outside.
Yeah, I always do that.
So if the price outside is one thing and the price on the pump is another thing, you got something to be concerned about.
You taught me that.
You need to make sure that the pump's dial resets before it starts your purchase too. So you know when you put your card in, make sure that it starts at 0 as opposed to starts at some other number, because if it doesn't start at 0, you got a faulty pump and you got a station that may very well be trying to rip you off.
Or just may not have good equipment or something, huh?
You should also check to make sure that the price per gallon on the pump stays the same throughout the transaction.
What if they change it right as I'm pumping gas? What price do I have to pay? What if the guy goes out to change the sign just as I start to fill up? And
if you start a transaction at one price, you must complete the transaction at that price. They can't change the price in the middle of the purchase transaction.
So it better go up and not down if I'm doing that.
Maybe. But that's the first point. Make sure that the numbers add up. I think that's an important. The second point that I wanted to make sure people understand is that you need to check the gauges in your vehicle to make sure they correspond with the numbers on the pump. So if your pump says that you bought 20 gallons of gas and you know you have a 20-gallon gas tank and your gas tank only fills up halfway, you got a problem. Make sure that the gauges on your vehicle correspond to the gauges or the numbers on your pump. The third thing that I would suggest is that because of what you just said to me, on one side of the street, $3.19 a gallon. That's right. I listened to what you said to me. And on another side of the street, $3 and
$2.99.
$2.99 on one side and $3.19 on the other.
That's right.
People need to shop around for gas prices.
Okay.
There really are different prices out there within the same community. And it is a little unusual to find them right across the street from each other.
Yeah.
But people really need to do what they can do to shop around for the best prices for gas. And in order to assist you in doing that, I'd like to share with our viewing audience a website, a local website that actually permits you to shop from your home for the cheapest price of gas.
Oh.
There is a website called PennsylvaniaGasPrices.com. So it's www.PennsylvaniaGasPrices.com.
Do you have to spell the word Pennsylvania?
Yes, it's
Okay,
all
say
one
PA.
word.
Okay.
PennsylvaniaGasPrices.com. And we'll show it on the screen so that people will be able to see it.
Okay.
But if you click on that website, you can identify the community you live in, and you can get the last reported gas prices for several different gas stations so that you can shop around
Wow.
from home.
Can I do that in other states, do you know?
Yes.
If I'm traveling, I want
Yes.
to bet the best prices.
That website will link you to a similar website for other states.
Because, you know, I drive to D.C. to go see your child and mine.
PennsylvaniaGasPrices.com is a gateway to being able to shop for gas in several places throughout the country.
Okay.
That's something people ought to take advantage of. The last suggestion I have is really just sort of an operational one, and that is one of the most important things people can do to save on gas is to check the air pressure in your tires.
Yes.
Do you do that?
I do that. And I've
Okay.
taught our oldest child to do it.
All right.
The one driver we have in
All
the
right.
family.
All right, check the tire pressure in the vehicle because it can save money. If your pressure is too low, you will expend more gasoline than if it is the pressure that the manuals call for in your vehicle.
And you can find that right on your tire, right?
Yes, you can find it
Okay.
on the tire too. This is the kind of thing that I think really makes a difference in people's lives. And while there isn't a whole lot we can do about controlling gas prices, if people feel like they have been victimized by a gas station, or if they feel like they've been price gouged by any gas station, there is a place to call. The Pennsylvania Attorney General's office has already received more than 1,000 calls from consumers regarding prices going up so high in the sky that they feel like they're being price gouged. So the other number I'd like to leave with you is the Office of Attorney General's Bureau of Consumer Protection. That number is 1-800-441-2555. So if you feel like you are a victim of price gouging, call the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office. That's it for today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of my family on The Smart Consumer. Be smart. See you again next time.
Thanks for inviting me. It was fun. I had a good time.
Good.